Good day and Shalom from Torah Shorts. Today we're going to be looking at why I do what I do. Why is it that man can think that it's his right to tell people what they believe is wrong? And it is because that is what Yahuah tells us to do. And we're going to look in Yahuah's word where he says that and how that comes to be. So firstly, we're going to look at Acts 5:29, and it says, "And Kepha, or Peter, and the other emissaries answering said, We have to obey Elohim rather than men." It's not about man's desire, it is about Yahuah's desire. It is also not for us, the believer walking in truth, his duty to correct the non-believer. It is the duty of the true believer to correct the misled believer. Let's look at 1 Corinthians 5 verse 9 onwards. And it's useful to pay very close attention here. "I wrote to you in my letter not to keep company with those who whore. And I certainly did not mean with those of this world who whore, or with greedy of gain, or swindlers, or idolaters, since then you would need to go out of the world." It's all about judging the believer. Let's see the next bit. "But now I have written to you not to keep company with anyone called a brother." That would be referring to a fellow believer. "If he is one who whores, or greedy of gain, or an idolater, or a reveler, or a drunkard, or a swindler, not even to eat with such a one. For what have I to do with judging outsiders? Do you not judge those who are inside?" So here's a clear differentiation between outsiders, which are non-believers, and those who are inside, which are the believers. Yahuah is the one who judges the ones outside. We read in verse 13, "But Elohim judges those who are outside, and put away the wicked one from among you." So here we see there's a very definite differentiation between the true believer needing to correct someone. We are not to be with those who are believers who whore and do wrong things. We are to correct them. And Yahuah will judge the outsiders. Yahuah makes it clear that we have to believe that it is our duty as believers to share the truth with the believer who has fallen away or who has been misled. We read in Ezekiel 3 verse 16 to 21. And I would like to point out other references. Ezekiel 18, 21 to 32, and 33, 8 to 20, where it all describes the same requirement from Yahuah. Now, Yahuah is talking here to the people of Israel, who were believers that have fallen away or has been misled by false prophets. Ezekiel 3 verse 16 onwards. "And it came to be at the end of 7 days that the word of Yahuah came to me, saying, Son of man, I have made you a watchman for the house of Israel," referring to Yahuah's people. "And you shall hear a word from my mouth, and shall warn them from me." Verse 18. "When I say to the wrong, you shall certainly die, and you have not warned them, nor spoken to warn the wrong from his wrong way, to save his life, that same wrong man shall die in his crookedness, and his blood I require at your hand." Can you see that? If we who believe and know the truth do not warn the believer who has been misled, the blood of the one fallen away becomes upon us. But if we do warn him, and he does not accept it, verse 19, but if you have warned the wrong, and he does not turn from his wrong, nor from his wrong way, he shall die in his crookedness, and you, the one who shared the truth, have delivered your being. And that is why it is so in the believer, the desire to share the truth, because we know in our hearts that it's our duty to save the fellow believers. So who are the children of Israel? Israel means to overcome with Elohim. If you overcome with Elohim, you overcome by his strength and his power and in his truth. This message are for those who were Yahuah's children and then have fallen away, to bring them back. If you choose to walk in the Torah, you serve Yahuah. You are Israel. But if you choose not to obey Yahuah, you serve the devil. The grace teaching of the church that we are being set free from sin through our Messiah and we can still continue living in sin is a lie, because then you serve the devil. We read from Romans 6 verse 15 onwards. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the Torah but under favor? Let it not be. Do you not know that to whom you present yourselves servants for obedience, you are servants of the one whom you obey, whether of sin to death or obedience to righteousness? Grace is to be free from sin, not to walk in sin. We read in verse 6, verse 18, and having been set free from sin, you have become servants of righteousness. I repeat, having been set free from sin, you've become servants of righteousness, meaning you're doing the right things, you're obeying the Torah. The Christian theology is a lie, and it is a stronghold, because they get you to obey the laws and traditions of the church rather than the word of Yahuah, and by doing that, obeying the traditions of the church, you disobey Torah. We read in Isaiah 30 verse 8 onwards, and go, write it before them on a tablet, and inscribe it on a scroll, that it is for a latter day, a witness forever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children who refuse to hear the Torah of Yahuah. Can you hear that? Those who refuse to hear the Torah of Yahuah, who say to the seers, do not see, and to the prophets, do not prophesy. To us what is right, speak to us what is smooth, prophesy deceits. So they are seeking the priests and the pastors who will tell them lies and things they want to hear, but they do not want to be prophesied and told the truth. The devil will be luring away the children of Yahuah by getting them to trust in these lies. We read from 11 onwards. Turn aside from the way, that is the way of the truth. Swerve from the path, that is the path of truth. Cause the set apart one of Israel, the true believer, to cease from before us. Therefore, thus said the set apart one of Israel, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perversiveness and rely on them, therefore this crookedness is to you like a breach ready to fall, a bulge in a wall whose breaking comes suddenly and swiftly. Those are very, very clear warnings. This deception and this outcome of these lies, we see this in the world everywhere. We read in Jeremiah 5:28, and they have become fat, they are sleek, they also overlook the deeds of the wrong, they did not rightly rule because of the fatherless, so they prosper, and the right of the needy they did not rightly rule. Yahuah warns us, he says, would I not punish them for this? declares Yahuah. Would I not revenge myself on such a nation as this? An astounding and a horrible matter has come to be in the land. The prophets have prophesied falsely, and the priests rule by their own hand, and my people have loved it so. And what are you doing, or what are you going to do at the end of it? Can you see that? The prophets have prophesied falsely, the priests rule by their own hand, and the people loved it. We read that from Jeremiah 5. It was from verse 29 to 31. Then Yahuah asks us, so what are we going to do about this? He says in 2 Timothy 4, verse 1 onwards, in the sight of Elohim and in the Master Yahushua Messiah, who shall judge the living and the dead at his appearing and his reign, I earnestly charge you, proclaim the word, be urgent in season, out of season, convict, warn, appeal, with all patience and teaching. Can you see that? We're commanded to share this truth. We have to. But sadly, there is a time, and Yahuah warns us about that. For there shall be a time when they shall not bear sound teaching, but according to their own desires, they shall heap up for themselves teachers tickling the ear. They shall indeed turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to myths. Yahuah commands his chosen to do the following. But you be sober in all matters, suffer hardships, do the work of an evangelist, accomplish your service completely. If I don't do what Yahuah tells me to do, their blood will be on my hands. And if I don't do this, their error, their sin will separate them from Yahuah. We read that in Isaiah 59, verse 1 and 2. Look, the hand of Yahuah has not become too short to save, nor his ear too heavy to hear. But your crookednesses have separated you from your Elohim, and your sins have hidden his face from you, from hearing. If you choose to follow and continue in the theology of the church, of Christianity, listen to what Yahuah has to say about that. He who turns away his ear from hearing the Torah, even his prayer is an abomination. And if you choose not to obey the Torah of Yahuah, you do not love our Messiah Yahushua. Because Yahushua says, John 14:15, if you love me, you shall guard my commands. And if that is the case, that you choose not to guard his commands, you are without the law. Yahushua says the following, Matthew 7:23, and then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Those without the Torah. And that is why we, people like me, share the truth with you. And we have the right to correct those who are following in error. Shalom. Till next time.